it is not. No, because the cut to that, I'm going to have to do it ever so quickly. Thank you. Well, confirmation that in that non-qualifying practice session, Ayrton Simmons was quickest, 1 minute 23.4. Second quickest was Axel Charpentier, 1 minute 23.82. And third quickest, Oscar Paloma, 1 minute 23.84. Fourth was Antonio Correa of Portugal, 1 minute 23.86. Fifth was Delbin Garcia, 1 minute 23.9. He was in fifth place, and those five drivers, those five lads, were all below 1 minute 24 seconds. Best of the rest, Sammy Worship, 1 minute 24.0. But the quick guy out there was Ayrton Simmons, 1 minute 23.42. They will be out again later this afternoon for qualifying practice at 4:10. In the meantime, we turn our attention to our next race in the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, and it's the second chance race for the juniors. Just looking down on the assembly area, our good friend Mr. Baz Kaligis, the #1 photographer in Rotax karting, and been a servant to this particular competition and the Euro Challenge for a good dozen years or so. Well, we're scheduled away very, very shortly. Jan Jonk of Denmark is the driver on pole position, and Maxi Hofer of Austria joins him on the front row. Tommy Lemaire-Willette of Canada and Joseph Burton Harris of Australia are row 2. Raoul Hyman, UK, Thomas Salvar, Czech Republic, row 3. Bradley Liebenberg and Daniel Woodruff are row 4, and the top 10 is completed on row 5 by Thomas Laurent and Matteo Fernandez. So the second chance racers are raced over the same distance as the heats. So in the junior class, that's just a 7-lap race. It's a 7-lap sprint. The first 6 drivers go through to tomorrow's finals. Sadly, the drivers behind them we have to bid farewell to. We've got both of the girls in this one because Jessica Backman is on row 11 and Ashley Rajero is also on the grid. I'm just trying to see her starting position. I think it's on row 12. So both of the girls fighting for their lives to stay in the competition. Jan Jonk is on pole position. Maxi Hofer joins him on the outside of the front row. 7 laps of the juniors. Those of you tuned in online, thank you for staying with us. It's dry now, it's sunny, but it's still very breezy. The track I would describe as wet but drying. And Jan Jonk is in the lead from pole position. The outside front row driver, Maxi Hofer, was well out of line, and it's an aborted start. Aborted start. Jan Jonk of Denmark is on pole position. The driver that you see at the front on the near side. On the far side, Maxi Hofer of Austria. Top 6 to stay in the competition. Sad farewell to those that finish 7th and below. Well, Maxi Hofer making a little gesture there, may have been just something with the visor. Oh, that's not a very even start, but I think we're racing. Jan Jonk into the lead from Tommy Lemaire-Willette and Joseph Burton-Harris I think I see in there. But virtually all of the drivers on the outside row had moved well over to the inside by the start of that race. But Jan Jonk of Denmark, I have to say Jan Jonk is a driver who I've described in race commentary this year as a most improved driver. Been very surprised to find him struggling in this one, but hey, that's sometimes the way it goes. Well, Jan Jonk in kart 142 I think has just lost the lead, and that might be the Australian driver that I'm looking at, kart number 137. It's Raoul Hyman from the United Kingdom. Raoul Hyman taking the lead. Not a good start for Joseph Burton-Harris, which originally I thought he had done, but well, that could have been the driver who's just gone into second place, and one of our front runners has driven off the circuit, and that puts him well out of the top 6. Can't identify who, but a little bit of a problem to say the least. Mechanical defects flag won't be to 187, there is no 187, but let's see how we go. With a big lead, it's 137. I hope that 137's not getting the mechanical defects flag, because it's Raoul Hyman, the race leader. Jan Jonk, the pole sitter, is second, and Tommy Lemaire-Willette of Canada in third place. Maxi Hofer, who started on the front row, only running down in 7th place. 2 of the fancied Australians, Joseph Burton-Harris 5th and Thomas Randall 6th, holding the last of the qualifying places as we speak. But Raoul Hyman from the United Kingdom via South Africa, getting himself handily placed in what is really only a short race. Having said that, the fast lap was 1 minute 15.5, so 75.5, which is 12 or 13 seconds slower than we would be expecting these same drivers to be going on slick tyres on a dry circuit. Having said that, for those of you viewing online, if your picture looks a little bit brighter, it's a nice sunny day, if a little breezy. Raoul Hyman coming round in that big lead, followed by 142 Jan Jonk. It's Thomas Salva, who I didn't spot going into third place, but is about to lose that to Joseph Burton Harris, and Joseph Burton Harris of Australia goes into third place. Now Joseph Burton Harris has been racing with us in Europe, and a guy who came with very, very big, shall we say, fanfare, a guy who we were told to watch as being one of the very best, and he has done well in Europe, no getting away from it, but struggled a little bit here in Portimao, but at the moment he's in a qualifying position, third place, from the junior second chance heat. In front of him is Jan Jonk of Denmark and Raoul Hyman of Great Britain. Behind him is Thomas Salva of the Czech Republic, Tommy Lemaire-Willette of Canada, and Maxi Hofer of Austria, who are all in qualifying positions at the moment. We're at the half race distance, would you believe? 3.5 laps gone. No, 2.5 laps gone, 2.5 laps gone. Well, Raoul Hyman is half a second quicker than everybody else, and he leads by 1.4 seconds. Jan Jonk still relatively comfortable in second place. Joseph Burton Harris third, how I called it. Thomas Salva fourth, Maxi Hofer fifth, and Patrick Pastorak has come up into sixth place. Patrick Pastorak in sixth place, and Lars Lamberel running seventh, who has been very disappointing from the basis of the European form that we know he's capable of. He's knocking on the door of a qualifying place in kart 175. Jessica Bachmann from way down the field on, I think, the 14th row, no, the 11th row. She's up to 8th place knocking on the door, but the driver who fell away was Tommy Lemaire-Willette. Tommy Lemaire-Willette in 11th place, having started in the inside of row 2, has thrown away a great opportunity. Second of the girls is Ashley Rajero of the United States. She's running 19th at the moment. The reggae racer Thomas Issa is inside the top 20 in 20th place. It's going to be tough to qualify from there, but if Mrs. Issa back in Kingston, Jamaica is listening again, hi to you, my love. And your boy has struggled a little bit, but at the moment he's in the top 20. This is lap 5. 4.5 laps gone. We're on lap 5, 2.5 laps remaining in this sprint for 6 places to continue in the competition. Raoul Hyman's lead is a big one. 1.8 seconds. Jan Jonk has got over 1.5 seconds to spare on Joseph Burton Harris. He's clear of the rest, but then Thomas Salva 4, Patrick Pastorak, Lars Lamberel, Jessica Bachmann, all knocking on the door. Maxi Hofer, who started on the front row, is falling out of the qualifying positions. He needs to arrest that decline quickly. We're on lap 5. Race leader coming round, and I think our camera's just capturing the 6th and 7th battle. That is the absolutely crucial part of the event. 1 and 2 going through now. You count the top 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th place driver is Lars Lamberel, just in shot now. Behind Lars Lamberel is Jessica Bachmann, number 7, or number 115 in 7th place. And she wants one more position to get into the top 6. Ferdinand Habsburg is going well. He's running 9th in kart 135. Gary Donnelly of Ireland, the Minimax champion, having to step up to juniors to be in this competition. Youngest driver in the race. Gary Donnelly of Northern Ireland running in the top 10. Still got work to do. Behind Gary Donnelly, Pepijn Steeman and Sam Schippers, two Dutchmen we would have expected to make the finals. Jay Nijjar did so well in round 4 of the Rotax Euro Challenge, running 13th. But time running out for Tommy Lemaire Willett in 14th, Brad Liebenberg in 15th, Thomas Randall 16th. You would have to think that their race is in effect over. Thomas Issa, who I mentioned, the reggae racer from Jamaica, is gone up a couple of places to 18th, but it's not going to be sufficient to take him through to the next stage of the competition. The last lap has started. Raoul Hyman, Jan Jonk, Joseph Burton Harris, Patrick Pastorak, Lars Lambarel has gone up to 5th place, so Lars Lambarel has got a cushion. Thomas Salva is running 6th, Jessica Bachmann is running 7th. That's the battleground for the last place. And Jessica Bachmann goes into 6th place, so the lady from the far north of Sweden gets a place in the qualifying competition, in the finals for real. Ferdinand Habsburg now needs to get a couple of places if he can qualify, needs to go past Thomas Salva, who's running 7th. Maxi Hofer actually fighting back a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Well, have to do justice to the race winners. The real battleground, as I say, is for those 6th and 7th places. But let's make sure that we do justice to the guys who've not had the best of fortune and have found themselves in the second chance heat. The first of them coming round to take the victory is going to be Raoul Hyman. There is the checkered flag, and victory goes to Raoul Hyman. In second place from Denmark, it's Jan Jonk. Third, it's Joseph Burton Harris, Australia. Fourth, Patrick Pastorak. Fifth, Lars Lambarel. And sixth, Jessica Bachmann. The unlucky driver in the field is Ferdinand Habsburg of Hungary. He finishes 7th and becomes the first non-qualifier. Thomas Salva of Czech Republic 8th, Maxi Hofer Austria 9th, Pepijn Steeman Netherlands completes the top 10. But the qualifiers, Raoul Hyman, Jan Jonk, Joseph Burton Harris, Patrick Pastorak, Lars Lambarel and Jessica Bachmann. Sadly, we have to bid farewell to Ferdinand Habsburg, Thomas Salva, Maxi Hofer, Pepijn Steeman and the other drivers out of the top 10. Well, confirmation of the race result. Raoul Hyman of Great Britain wins it. Jan Jonk of Denmark 2nd. Joseph Burton Harris, Australia 3rd. Patrick Pastorak 4th is also a qualifier. Lars Lambarel of Netherlands a qualifier. And Jessica Bachmann from Sweden a qualifier. Sadly, the first of our non-qualifiers, and it was a good drive by him from Hungary, Ferdinand Habsburg 7th. Thomas Salva, Czech Republic 8th, Maxi Hofer, Austria 9th, and Pepijn Steeman of Netherlands completing the top 10, but sadly, Ferdinand Habsburg, Thomas Salva, Maxi Hofer, Pepijn Steeman, and all of the remaining drivers who finished out of the top 10, we have to bid a sad farewell to. But well done to Raoul Hyman, race winner, and the top 6 who go forward to tomorrow's finals. Well, just before I read you the grid, I'm going to say a public hi and welcome to Mr. Roland Geidel and his son, Mr. James Geidel of RGMMC, celebrating 10 years of the Rotax Euro Challenge next year. Have a look at the advert on the in the program. I think it may be on the back page, or if it's not on the back page, it's the inside. It is. It's on the back page of the program. If you want to make enquiries about the Rotax Euro Challenge, Mr. James Geidel, Mr. Roland Geidel. So confirmation that the guys starting in a qualifying position are Alexandra Finkelstein on pole, Jesper Magnussen on the front row, Daniel Rochford, Australia, Sandor Jakab, Slovakia, row 2, Louis Pagano, USA, and Moritz Oberheim of Germany on row 3. If they lose no places in the race, they're in tomorrow's finals. The guys behind them, they need to make some forward progress. 11 laps, same length as the heats. That's Alex Finkelstein you see on pole position on the left, coming into view Jesper Magnussen. And that's a good clean start, and Alex Finkelstein goes into the lead. Well, I say it's a clean start. Somebody's clouted the side of the circuit very hard. They're not hurt, but the side of the circuit is somewhat second-hand at the moment. Alex Finkelstein is in front of Daniel Rochford, and I think Louis Pagano also had a good start, the driver from the United States having gone well. But it's Alexandra Finkelstein, the double French champion, and he loses the lead. Alex Finkelstein, I think, has lost the lead to Daniel Rochford. Alex Finkelstein, starting on pole position, pretty sure has lost the lead to cart number 258, which is Daniel Rochford. Daniel Rochford 1, Alexandra Finkelstein 2, Jesper Magnussen, I think, in third place. If it's not Jesper, it's Louis Pagano. Well, the sun's shining nicely on these carts. These are all, of course, Sodi carts, and Alexandra Finkelstein driving the French Sodi cart as the double French champion should feel at home. Oh, and he's about to lose another position, I think. Alexandra Finkelstein is not having a happy time. He started in pole position, but is only just hanging on to, well, he's gone through in second place because Daniel Rochford has been he's overtaken Daniel Rochford when Louis Pagano went through. Sandor Jakab running fourth, Marek Kromi fifth, and Jesper Magnussen in sixth place. Well, not sure if I called Daniel Rochford as taking the lead when it was Louis Pagano. That is a possibility. But at the moment, all of those drivers in a qualifying position. Jesper Magnussen 6th, Marek Kromis 5th, Sandor Jakab 4th, Daniel Rochford 3rd, Alex Finkelstein 2nd, and our race leader, Louis Pagano. Rather looking in too many places at once, I think, so let me just concentrate on the tarmac. Oh, and at the back of the grid, oh, two guys making really heavy contact, hands thrown in the air. Neither of those carts will continue. The only consolation to them is I don't think they were anywhere near a prayer for qualifying in the top 6. On the other hand, they would have had another 7 or 8 laps racing here at Portimao. As it is now the end of their race program. Alex Finkelstein did get back in front while I was looking at that crash. Louis Pagano still second, Daniel Rochford still third, but Daniel Rochford coming under pressure from Sandor Jakab, and Sandor Jakab may have got past. Jesper Magnussen goes up a place to 5th. Antti Ollikainen of Finland, who started the heats on the back row, has got himself into 6th place, which is a qualifying position. The really sad sight is Sean Babington, who only finished one of his races in the heats, running in 15th place. We all know how much better than that Sean Babington is. Phil DeLeo in 22nd place is a sad sight too. Likely to lose Michael Cool as well, out of the top 10. But on a positive note, would be good to see the French champion, who had that misfortune in the heats, getting a break in the LCQ. Louis Pagano, USA, Daniel Rochford, Australia have travelled a long way. Be nice to see those guys making the final. Kart number 229, Alex Finkelstein, has given himself a real margin. The first 5 are well clear of everybody else. They are Alex Finkelstein, Louis Pagano, Sandor Jakab, Jesper Magnusson and Daniel Rochford. Then Xavier Pozzoli of France in kart 257 is 6th, but is being chased by Antti Ollikainen of Finland in 7th place. Sean Babington went from 15th to 11th on that lap. Can we really think that Sean Babington could get from 11th to 6th? He's good enough, but he's had his issues. Let me try and count where he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's up at place 210 from 11th to 10th. So the British and European champion clinging on to this competition by his fingernails. Alex Finkelstein for the first time able to feel comfortable. Sweeping round at the end of lap 4 onto the home straight. Driving standards flags being shown, but from this driving position, from this commentary point, I don't see the numbers. So unless I hear, it was kart number 260. 260 was one of the drivers lower down the order, I thought. No, it's Alexander Serenko 8th. So Alexander Serenko in 8th place needs to go a couple of places further forward to qualify, but he's on a driving standards flag. Football's equivalent of the yellow card, Alexander Serenko. Alex Finkelstein's lead, 1.4 seconds. We're at the half race distance, 5.5 laps gone. I think I've made that mistake again. It's 4.5 laps gone. Second time I've made that mistake. Looking at 2 different screens. Well, Alexander Finkelstein's lead is closing in on 1.5 seconds. So, conservation of body and machine should see the French champion through. He starts lap 6. In second place, comfortably placed, is the United States driver Louis Pagano. Jesper Magnusson moved up to 3rd place, and Daniel Rochford's got to be careful now, because Danny Rochford has dropped down to 5th place. Was talking to his dad earlier on in the week, and have to say I don't really see this as Daniel Rochford's real form, but at the moment he's in a qualifying position. So is Sandor Jakab 4th, so is Xavier Pozzoli 6th, but Antti Ollikainen 7th, Alex Serenko 8th, and Sean Babington 9th need work to be done. Well, just trying to get my geography right and follow this chase by Sean Babington. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's still work to do by Sean Babington. Not only are there places that need to be gained, but there's distance between the guys to be made up. Not favouring Sean Babington in commentary as an Englishman, as a fellow Englishman. I just feel that everybody who, for whatever reason, had the misfortune not to finish a heat, but good enough to get a shot at the second chance race, gets a decent shot at it. Alexander Serenko has been passed by Sean Babington, and Alex Serenko's in trouble because he's on a driving standards flag and he drops a place, needed to gain 2 places, but he's actually dropped 1. So he's 3 places off a qualifying position at the moment, the Russian in cart number 260. Alexander Finkelstein is cart number 229 in a big lead. 254 is Louis Pagano. Louis Pagano actually being tracked by Jesper Magnusson of Sweden. They don't need to race each other, but as things stand at the moment, you would see Jesper Magnusson getting hold of Louis Pagano for that 2nd place. Danny Rochford has gone up from 5th to 4th. Xavier Pozzoli from 6th to 5th, and Sandor Jakab is the driver with everything to lose from here, running just 6th. Antti Ollikainen and Sean Babington are the guys behind him. Louis Pagano still holding on to that 2nd place. And there goes the move by Jesper Magnusson. Does he make it stick? No, he doesn't. Louis Pagano defends. Louis Pagano stays 2nd. And Jesper Magnusson loses a little bit of ground. Xavier Pozzoli in 4th place and Danny Rochford 5th are quite close. Sandor Jakab has lost his qualifying position. Antti Ollikainen of Finland, the only kart driver I know who's interested in politics, active politics outside of kart racing. Plenty of politics in kart racing. Sometimes wish there wasn't so much. Alex Finkelstein is 4.5 seconds clear. You would say that he can't lose it from here, but the Frenchman has had a fair little bit of misfortune this season when I've been on the microphone. Not least suffering a couple of broken ribs in a Rotax Euro challenge. That was on his home circuit at Salbris. Well, not his home French circuit, but the home nation circuit. Louis Pagano urging that Sodi kart forward. Jasper Magnusson not as close as he was a lap ago. So that attempted move by Jasper Magnusson, when it didn't work, cost the Swede a little bit of distance, but he's still in a qualifying position. A black flag is being shown, and kart number 212, Yuri Alves of Brazil, is out, but he's not coming round anyway. Is in 25th place and is not going to complete lap 8. Yuri Alves has been black flagged out of the race, but he's not completed the lap anyway. This is lap 9 of an 11 lap second chance heat for the seniors. The French champion, not only in the lead, is set the fastest lap, and he's got 5 seconds to the good. Would be absolutely heartbreaking for Finkelstein to throw it away from here, but like I say, I've been on the mic when I've had to call some of the misfortune of this lad. 229, Alex Finkelstein is already... Now, is this a second driver being black flagged out? Well, it's not a mechanical defects flag, it's not a warning flag. Somebody being black flagged out of the race. Can't identify the number. Sean Babington is in 7th place. The British and European champion needs 1 more place to get into a qualifying position. Still be a huge task to get on the podium, but if he could make it to the finals, it would have been a sterling effort against adversity. And it's Antti Ollikainen going into 5th place, and Daniel Rochford is the guy under attack from Sean Babington. Daniel Rochford in kart 258 is 6th, Sean Babington in kart 215 is 7th. That is the battleground. And Babington makes the move. Babington makes the move and gets into a qualifying position. Been a tough meeting for the Rotax Euro Challenge champion, but he's worked his way through in this one to a qualifying position. We're on the last lap anyway. Sandor Jakab is in a qualifying position in 6th. Danny Rochford has fallen away. Danny Rochford hasn't come round. What's happened to the Australian? Antti Ollikainen has not come round. They've had a collision. Antti Ollikainen and Daniel Rochford have had a collision on the penultimate lap, and it's taken both of them out of the competition. Daniel Rochford and Antti Ollikainen were in the top 6. They will not finish the race. We shall have to bid farewell to them. Well, this is about qualifying, but let's do justice to the race winner because he's taken this by the scruff of the neck. Started on pole position but lost the lead rather easily early on, but he's come back very strongly. The double French champion comes onto the home straight. There's the checkered flag. Alexandra Finkelstein wins it and qualifies. This is Louis Pagano that you can see coming home in second. Third is Jesper Magnusson. Fourth is Xavier Pozzoli. Fifth is Sean Babington. Sixth is Sandor Jakab. And they qualify. Alexander Serenko 7. Musashi Nakanishi 8. Thomas Brinterson 9. And Claudio Pagliarani complete the top 10. Confirmation that Alexander Finkelstein won that race from Louis Pagano 2nd, Jesper Magnusson 3rd. The other qualifiers were Xavier Pozzoli 4th, Sean Babington 5th and Sandor Jakab 6th. Alexander Serenko, sadly, we have to bid farewell to, 7th for the Russian. Musashi Nakanishi of Japan 8th, Thomas Brinterson 9th and Claudio Pagliarani 10th. And those 4 drivers and everyone below 10th place we have to bid a sad farewell to. But congratulations to Alexandra Finkelstein, Louis Pagano, Jesper Magnusson, the 1, 2 and 3. Well, Rene Martinelli of the United States has not had a happy time, has he? But that looks like him pushing that cart away. And, oh dear, you know it's not your event when you can't even leave for the formation lap. Heinrich Lembergs of Latvia is on pole position with Riki Tanioka of Japan joining him on the front row. Aldo Salas of Chile and Nicky Irwin of New Zealand are row 2. Reminder that Nicky Irwin drives a cart that is all hand operations, doesn't have the use of his legs. Thomas Schumacher and Jarbon Nemeth are row 3, the last of the 6 qualifying places as they start. Jerry Hargitay of Hungary was 4th in this competition last year. He starts 10th in the last chance race. Fellow Hungarian Jarbon Nemeth starts 6th. Well, more collisions on the formation lap. Doesn't augur well, does it, for them? Do we get a start? No, this is not a start, an aborted start. The officials couldn't possibly have started that one from there. Well, they're not coming up too slowly, are they? That's a quite quick approach, I think. But do we get them away? No, we don't. Well, I just make an observation. By the very nature of things, this is a last chance race, and the drivers do not find themselves on pole position or the front row very often, and didn't look really experienced enough to bring this grid round at an appropriate pace. It does have to be slower than that, and the formation has to be more compact than that to give everybody a fair start. We try again. race director Romero Britt, having laid down his views to this front-running pair of Heinrich Lembergs and Ricky Tanioka. They need to get it right this time, don't they? 3 aborted starts in the second chance heat for DD2 Masters. Jerry Hargitay of Hungary was 4th in this event last year, starting in 10th place and out of a qualifying position. Big names like René Martinelli of USA, he's starting 13th, needs to be in the top 6. Big problems for cart number 421. Cart 421 is Marco Diaz of Brazil. Wasn't due to start anywhere further forward than the 12th row, but he would have liked to start an 11-lap race. Oh, maybe he has got going. Gonna have to start perhaps at the back, so even if he's going out of the competition, at least he gets 11 racing laps to close his race program. Well, we're racing this time, I think, and again it's Ricky Tanioka who outjumps Heinrich Lembergs, but Nicky Irwin of New Zealand in the all-hand operated cart 458's the one who was sharpest away. Nicky Irwin, Ricky Tanioka the first to show. Heinrich Lembergs getting himself a little bit slowly away from pole position, and the driver Marco Diaz has had to start 16 seconds behind them all. Well, Marco Diaz was due to start on the 12th row, so it would have been a tough ask to get him to qualify from there. Now I think we have to say it's an impossible task, but at least he is able to race. Nicky Irwin in this all-hand operated machine, cart number 458, leading as we drop down the hill. Seeing waved yellows, but I don't see what the waved yellow is protecting, but obviously something. Nicky Irwin, I'm told that just behind the flag that obliterates my view. Ooh, and we've lost somebody who I thought for a moment was going to roll onto the racing surface. So Nicky Irwin of New Zealand coming round onto the home straight to complete the opening lap. Nicky Irwin won. Jabon Nemeth was the second place driver, and Jabon Nemeth looking to take the lead, but the Hungarian not, well, I won't say not able to do it, he aborted it, but in doing so Aldo Salas has gone through. Aldo Salas from Chile has gone into second place, and all of that has given a little bit of breathing space to Nicky Irwin. Nicky Irwin 1, Aldo Salas 2, Jabon Nemeth of Hungary 3. I think it's Thomas Schumacher of Germany in 4th place. Heinrich Lembergs, who started on pole, went through on the opening lap in 7th place outside of a qualifying position. Well, Nicky Irwin. We remember Eric Lazar from California, USA, who drove in an all-hand operated machine in the Rotax Grand Finals. And back home in England, where I come from, there's a supercart racer, a shifter cart racer, Lee Shepherd, who does the same. And now Jabon Nemeth, I think, has got back the place that he lost moments ago. Certainly Aldo Salas is back to 3rd. No, it was Thomas Schumacher going through to 2nd. So Nicky Irwin 1, Thomas Schumacher 2, Aldo Salas 3, and Jabon Nemeth, and Thomas Schumacher takes the lead. Thomas Schumacher takes the lead on lap 3. Thomas Schumacher from Germany. Those of you tuning in online, Thomas Schumacher is not the only famous F1 name we've got here. Schumacher. Mikko Sala is racing with us, but not the Mikko Sala you're thinking of. Thomas Schumacher 1, Nicky Irwin 2, Aldo Salas 3, Szabo Nemeth 4. And then the other two guys in a qualifying position are Santiago Guerrera of Colombia and Thomas Jürgensen of Norway. Behind them, Johan Rodriguez is running 7th, Jerry Hargitay is running 8th, and the pole sitter Anrich Lembergs falls further back to 9th. Vladislav Alekferdov of Russia completing the top 10. Coming round to start lap 4, the comfortable leader is Thomas Schumacher. Nicky Irwin in 2nd place under pressure from Aldo Salas, and Aldo Salas bids to go 2nd and executes. So Aldo Salas of Chile in South America is now 2nd. Nicky Irwin of New Zealand in Australasia is now 3rd, and Szabo Nemeth of Hungary in Central Europe is now 4th. And the good news for those 4 is they're well clear of the rest of the racing people. 5th, I think, is Santiago Guerrero. Is that Jerry Hargitay? No, Jerry Hargitay is behind him. So Jerry Hargitay, still a little bit more work to do. Just looking further downfield, any big names that we've lost. Hesitate to take my eye off the screen. John van Wyk of South Africa, been quite ill this year, not raced an awful lot. He's not going to qualify for tomorrow's finals. He's 26th. American driver Johnny Blair in the top 20, but not high enough, and the same applies to Bill Lester. Anrich Lembergs, who started on pole position, out of the reckoning, one would imagine. In 9th place, you're capable of getting back to 6th, but Anrich has only made backwards progress. And there's a move, I think, by Jerry Hargitay, which I was half anticipating. The Hungarian champion who came through the field admirably at Al Ain Raceway, Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates last year, to finish just off the podium in 4th place. Had a fairly, shall we say, indistinguishable few days here at Portimao, but looks as if he's going to get himself to the final, but spilling a place as I speak. Well, it isn't all over till it's all over, and anything that your commentator tells you is not necessarily correct. We're at the half race distance, 5.5 laps gone, 5.5 to go. Thomas Schumacher pulling away now, got the biggest part of 2 seconds advantage. Thomas Schumacher actually is going to have a back marker in his sights. The back marker is Fernando Carvalho of Brazil, but I don't think he's going to cause any issues to Thomas Schumacher. 4th place driver Szabo Nemeth putting pressure now on Nicky Irwin. Nicky Irwin, who led the race early on. Well, Szabo Nemeth not in a position to make a move just at the moment, I would have said. And Nicky Irwin relatively safe in 3rd. Szabo Nemeth totally safe in 4th. Then 2 guys racing 5th and 6th. They need to stay out of trouble. Santiago Guerrero and Thomas Jürgensen, because behind them is the vastly experienced Jerry Hargitay. Jerry Hargitay here with his brother Sandor. Sandor, a former Speedway, international Speedway racer. Before I was involved in kart racing, I was involved only as an announcer, not as a racer, but I was involved in Speedway racing, hence I know of Sandor Hargitay. Well, Jerry just trying to gain a place there, but having to back off. Thomas Schumacher sets off on lap 7. Aldo Salas 2nd, Nicky Irwin 3rd, Szabo Nemeth 4th, and Szabo Nemeth has worked his way past Nicky Irwin. So Nicky Irwin, who led the race, is now back in 4th place, but the good news is that this is lap 7 of 11, and Nicky Irwin has got 2 places to spare, and there's a lot of distance behind him before the next driver. And there's the move by Jerry Hargitay. Jerry Hargitay goes past Thomas Jürgensen of Norway, and the Hungarian, multi-Hungarian champion gets himself into a qualifying position on lap 7 of 11. Well, just trying to know where to look for the best. I want to see what's happening at the front. Thomas Schumacher is biggest part of 2.5 seconds in front of Aldo Salas and Jabor Nemeth third. Here comes the race leader. 4.54 is Thomas Schumacher, but 6 and 7ths are the ones that count. Aldo Saldas second, Jabor Nemeth third, Nicky Irwin fourth. Fifth is Jerry Hargitay, who's gone past Thomas Jurgensen. Santiago Guerrera 7. The driver that we lost out of the... No, Heinrich Lembergs was out, so Thomas Jurgensen, I think the guy who Jerry Hargitay passed, that was when he went 7th to 6th, 6th to 5th. Santiago Guerrero of Colombia, let me just double check that because I had a second thought for a minute. Cart number 423 is indeed from Colombia, having been in the grand finals on the 2 previous years. 3 times he's been here, the Colombian. He's the guy that's in the most unenviable position at the moment. 7th place with guys having gone past him and 1 place off a qualifying position. John van Wyk has gone up the field quite dramatically up to 16th, but it's probably not going to be sufficient. And Marco Diaz of Brazil, who started last and half a lap behind everybody else, has gone up to 23rd. That's a great drive by the Brazilian. It's not going to get him into tomorrow's finals, but it is a good note to close his racing program on. This is lap 9. Thomas Schumacher's lead is the biggest part of 3 seconds now. Salas second, Nemeth third, Irwin fourth, Jurgensen fifth, Hargitay sixth. So while I was looking at the screen, Thomas Jurgensen of Norway has gone past Jerry Hargitay. 6th, Morgan Hipp has come up to 7th. So the battleground now is Jerry Hargitay in cart 425, 6th, and in a qualifying position. Morgan Hipp of France, cart 427 in 7th place and not in a qualifying position. Good battle between 5th, 6th and 7th, with 2 of them going through. 1 of them, sadly, we have to bid farewell to. Cart 445 going through is Antonis Peras of Cyprus, just about a lap behind, although Kerim Zengin of nearby Turkey, well, relatively nearby. So Thomas Schumacher sets off on lap 10 as the blue flag is drawn for Kerem Zengin. Aldo Salas second, Jabor Nemeth third, Nicky Irwin fourth, Thomas Jurgensen fifth, Jerry Hargitay sixth. Well, I want to do what is best for you, and I think I'm going to stay with that battle of 6th and 7th. Wind just gets a little bit more breezy, but I don't think it's raining. Thomas Schumacher, I don't want to take anything for granted. This is kart racing. Anything can happen. Well, 7th place driver Morgan Hipp just lost a little bit of ground going through the infield hairpin when he could have done with the 2 in front of him losing ground. It's not all over, but it is late in the race. 1 1/4 laps remaining for most of the drivers. So, last lap as Thomas Schumacher sets off. 2 and 3, Salas and Nemeth are safe. Irwin is safe. Jurgensen and Hargitay and Hipp and Ruiz, that's the battleground. And there are some potential changes that, no, it didn't quite happen. Jerry Hargitay getting into a near contact. Jerry Hargitay is running 6th, Morgan Hipp is running 7th. This is my leader. 1, 2, 3 are safe. 4th and 5th is safe. Here is the battleground. Jerry Hargitay is running in 6th place and at the moment is in a qualifying position. Morgan Hipp in 7th place, putting the pressure on. Well, it's going to go down to the wire. But let's do justice to the race winner, because Thomas Schumacher's taken hold of this one. Going to be starting the last lap. And there is the finish, not the start of the last lap. The checkered flag disappeared from my view. I thought that was the last lap and then didn't see the checkered flag. Aldo Salas qualifies in second place. Jabon Nemeth third. Nicky Irwin fourth. Thomas Jurgensen fifth. Jerry Hargitay of Hungary managed to hold on to sixth place and qualifying place. So two Hungarians go through in the second chance heat. Jabon Nemeth rather safely in third place. Jerry Hargitay in a nerve-jangling sixth and final place. Sadly, we say farewell to Morgan Hipp 7th, Jose Ruiz 8th, Johannes Rodriguez 9th, and a good drive by Bill Lester from USA. He drove himself into the top 10. Wasn't enough to get a place in the finals, but it was a good effort by the American driver. Well, confirmation that the second chance heat for DD2 Masters was won by Thomas Schumacher. Aldo Salas was second, Jabon Nemeth third. Nicky Irwin came fourth, Thomas Jurgensen fifth, and Jerry Hargitay sixth. They qualify. Sadly, we bid farewell to Morgan Hipp, Jose Ruiz, Johannes Rodriguez, and Bill Lester, and all of the guys below 10th place. Tom Delisson is on pole position, joined by Sebastian Bertrand on the front row. Antoine Lepeceur and Eduardo Leitao are row 2. Brian Staffusa and Fritz Liesmann are row 3. They're the guys that start off in a qualifying position. Here we go. Well, that's not a very even start, but I do believe we've let them go. And Tom Delisson was either stunningly faster than everybody else or has made a jump start. I think that he's made a legitimate start. He's way out in front. Antoine Lepeceur had a decent start too. Sebastian Bertrand a little bit slow on the outside of the front row. Just trying to have a look round to see if I'm seeing any message of a review of the start. But I'm not learning of a review of the start, so Tom Delisson may have well just simply got the hammer down quicker than everybody else in kart 378. The all-white helmet at the front. Those of you tuned in online will have just seen a little hint of rainbow there. Most parts of the circuit look horrid, but one part in the far distance has got some sunshine and a rainbow. Hey, welcome to Portimao in November. We've had a mix of everything. Some lovely warm sunshine. Oh, and one of the drivers bottom left of your screen going off the circuit, but that wasn't one of the front runners. Tom Delisson, the Dutchman, brings the karts round to conclude the opening lap. Eduardo Leitao was second. Now, I didn't call Daniel Vacas into third place, and Daniel Vacas has come through from 10th to third on the opening lap. Fritz Liesmann fourth and Sebastian Bertrand completing the top 5. Nicholas Verheul has made a good start from 16th up to 9th in one lap. And Patrick Pearce has gone from 19th to 11th on one lap. Well, Tom Delisson in this comfortable lead, pursued by Eduardo Leitao and Daniel Vacas. The 3 drivers behind him are relatively close to each other. You see the rainbow on screen there, those of you tuned in online, but you can see the other side of the coin, those black clouds. Fritz Liesmann 4th, Sebastian Bertrand 5th, and Akito Saito 6th were a little bit further forward than the 7th place driver from Thailand, which is Anupap Afarsat. Anupap Afarsat 7th, another Asian, Yuta Takano 8th, South African Nicholas Verheul 9th, Peter Toth of Hungary 10th. Pat Pearce 11th, Great Britain. Mirko Rossi of San Marino has driven himself up into 11th, and Pat Pearce has gone up to 9th, having gone past Peter Toth. We're on lap 3 of 11 in the DD2 second chance, sometimes referred to as the last chance saloon, LCQ, last chance qualifier, with the second chance heat. Second chance heat, it isn't for juniors, 11 for the other 3 classes. As the tip of that rainbow again is clearly seen on our screen, followed by the ugly cloud in the other direction. Those of you tuned in online and not here at Portimao, I think you get a feel of the weather patterns here. It can be very, very warm and pleasant. It can be a little bit. Delisson 1, Eduardo Leitao 2, Daniel Vacas 3, remain the front 3. Little bit of a gap to Sebastian Bertrand 4, Fritz Liesmann 5, and Akito Saito in 6th place. He goes through 6 now, then quite a little gap to the Thai driver, Anupap Afarsat 7th. Patrick Pearce is the driver on a charge. He's picked up another place to 8th. Peter Toth has gone from 10th to 9th, the Hungarian. Yuta Takano of Japan 10th. Mirko Rossi, San Marino, elite to 12th. And a great drive by Pierre-Luc Ouellet. The double world champion started 30th and is 13th after 3 laps of 11. So watch out for a charge from 343 Pierre-Luc Ouellet and 344 Patrick Pearce. Good drivers who've started downfield, but making fast forward progress. I think we've lost one of our 2 reggae. Really unhappy time here, but was determined to see it out to the finish. And his head coach, Peter Moody. But I think that Colin Daly has got himself into a position where he's not going to complete lap 3 and is out of the second chance race. Tom Delisson goes through in the lead. Eduardo Leitao 2nd, Daniel Vacas 3rd, Sebastian Bertrand 4th. There's a major pile-up involving 4 drivers at about the 3/4 race distance, carts being dragged off the circuit, drivers coming away holding hands. I don't mean holding each other's hand, I mean holding their own hands in pain. That wasn't a front-running battle, it was way down grid, so commiserations to the drivers, and I think that we're being signalled for some medical attention. One of the drivers, I think, is not out of the carts. Oh, he is. He's out of the cart now. He's out of the cart now. So the signal for attention may well have been a signal that he didn't need attention. And would you believe it? Our wonderful hard-working marshals, I can see several of them having to hold their hand against their eyes to keep out the bright sunlight. We're getting absolutely every mix of meteorological, what shall we say, malfunctioning thrown at us. It isn't perhaps malfunctioning so much as a bit of bad weather here and a bit of good weather there. Green flag you saw to negate the yellow flag that protected that incident that I just told you about. But then again, more yellow flags, there's more issues. But the order hasn't changed. But Patrick Pearce in 7th place, knocking on the door. Patrick Pearce of Great Britain trying to get into the finals. Saw his mum Kath earlier on in the event. Paddy Pearce in 7th place, needs one more place to qualify. Akito Saito of Japan needs to hold him at bay so he in turn can qualify. Fritz Liesman's lost a place to Sebastian Bertrand, but the top 6, as we called them in the early stages, remains the top 6, but there's a lot of action behind them. Well, Tom Dealison had a bigger lead than this at one time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, a relative gap between Akito Saito in 6th place and Patrick Pearce in 7th place. Incidentally, there was once a situation where the driver that finished 9th qualified. How did that happen? Well, one of the guys in front of him clouted the 5th place driver out of the way. The 5th place driver went off the circuit, but the driver who did the clouting was disqualified, so that put the 9th man up to 7th, and one of the others was underweight. That put the 9th man in the second chance heat if you're running even as low down as 9th or 10th. Rather really has had a rough time, but Peter Moody and himself have stuck to the task, and I admire them for that, I really do. We're on lap 7. Hate saying this because I don't want to put the commentators cursing, but I was going to say relatively safe, and they've done what I suggested they shouldn't do. They've started racing and had a little bit of contact, and all of them continue in the top 6, but drivers 7th and 8th behind them now get closer. Well, don't race each other if you're in the top 6, just stay where you need to be. Patrick Pearce has still got a lot of work to do in 7th place if he's to qualify. 7th place if he's to qualify. Akito Saito is one of 2 Japanese drivers. Yuta Takano is the other, but Akito was in a qualifying position and has spilt that. Troy Woolston, Australia, appointments of the Aussie lads. Not had the best of fortune. Mirko Rossi of San Marino struggling outside the top 10. Pierre-Luc Ouellette has got himself up to 13th, but it may not be enough. We're on lap 8. So 4 laps to go, include just under 3.5 laps to go for the leaders. And Pierre-Luc Ouellette really running out of laps, even though he's getting himself a little bit further forward. Mohamed Al-Dahiri, who was going so well, drops down to Azar, I think has gone out. Yes, he has. Michael Azar of Lebanon has gone out on the 7th lap. Excuse me, gone out on the 8th lap, perhaps. Well, I get to that point when I don't want to say any more because I'm very tempted to say that the top 6 are clear of the rest, and if they do nothing silly, they'll be relatively safe. But they did something a little bit, not silly, but a racer is a racer. But the 7th place driver, Peter Toth of Hungary, is catching them. No question about it. Peter Toth is getting closer all the time, and I'm going to keep my eyes on Peter Toth. The 6th place driver is Sebastian Bertrand of France. 5th place driver is Fritz Liesmann of the United States. 4th, Patrick Pearce. 3rd, Daniel Vacas. 2nd, Eduardo Laito. And the leader is Tom Dealison. Now remember, Tom Dealison had that flying start. I know nothing to suggest that that's not, you just wonder. So there may be still plenty to race for. This is lap 10, 2 to go. Well, Peter Toth just can't close that gap. What Peter Toth needs is the 6th, 5th, 4th or 3rd guys in front of him to have a little bit of a contact session, and that might prize some opening for him. In fact, they are racing each other again, and one of the guys getting a move on the to get in there. 1.5 laps remaining, and a bit, oh guys, why do you do that? A bit to go from 5th to 4th by Fritz Liesmann, I think it was. It didn't end in tears, it could have done. A race leader is Tom Dealison, the white helmet and the dark race suit. Behind him is Eduardo Laito. 3rd place Patrick Pearce. They do look totally safe. But then 4 drivers behind them battling for 3 qualifying places, and there's another move, is it? No. So last lap, and these are the top 7 that you see on screen. The top 7, the last guy would go out if it finished like this. It's Peter Toth of Hungary, and he needs to pass one of the guys in front at least. Oh, so close. Peter Toth and Sebastian Bertrand. Sebastian Bertrand 6th, and is that Peter Toth going into 6th? I think it is. But he gets pushed out a little bit. This is the battle. He waves his hand. I understand how you feel, Peter, but don't wave your hand. Get driving. Sebastian Bertrand saying, no, that's my position. I'm going to keep it. 6th and a qualifying position. You're not going to go there. Well, drama on that final lap for the final qualifying place. There was some contact. The stewards may look at that. The clerk of the course may refer it. The corner workers may refer it. Dealison, who looked to be heading for an easy victory, actually coming under challenge by Eduardo Laito. Can't believe that Eduardo, but then the Portuguese might want to win in Portugal. But Tom Dealison wins it. 2nd is Eduardo Laito. 3rd is Patrick Pearce. 4th is Daniel Vacas. 5th is Sebastian Bertrand. 6th is Fritz Liesmann, and Peter Toth of Hungary. His brave battle for a qualifying place ending in narrow failure. He finishes 7th. Troy Woolston, Australia 8th. Yuta Takano of Japan 9th. Akito Saito of Japan completes the top 10, but we have to bid farewell to those guys from 7th and below. Tom Dealison, Eduardo Laito and Pat Pearce were the 1, 2 and 3. Daniel Vacas, Sebastian Bertrand and Fritz Liesmann also qualified. So let's have confirmation of the result of the second chance heat in DD2. Victory for the Dutchman Tom Dealison. Portugal's Eduardo Laito was 2nd, and Patrick Pearce from the United Kingdom was 3rd. Daniel Vacas of Spain 4th, Sebastian Bertrand of France 5th, and Fritz Liesmann from California in the USA 6th, and in the final qualifying place. Sadly, we have to bid farewell to Peter Toth of Hungary 7th, Troy Woolston Australia 8th, Yuta Takano Japan 9th, and fellow Japanese driver Akito Saito, who finished 10th. Akito was in a qualifying position for some time, but it slipped away. We have to say farewell to those in 10th place and below. Luis Martinez of Mexico 11th, Mirko Rossi of San Marino in 12th place. Also, we have to bid farewell to. In 13th place, Matthew Kinsman of New Zealand goes out. Thomas Holland of Great Britain 14th, Nelson Stanishi of Brazil 15th, Pierre-Luc Ouellet of Canada. Just hasn't happened for the double world champion this weekend. He finished 16th. Oliver George of United Arab Emirates, the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, 17th. Alexei Zabolotny of Russia, Russia 18th. Rafael Berdish of Poland 19th, and Diego Rojo completing the top 20. The guy with the best name for a racer, Jet Chungchen of Malaysia 21. Sanad Al-Rawahi of UAE 22nd. Ameya Bafna of India 23rd, and Savas Chrysokou of Cyprus finishing 24th. 25th was Michael Azar of the Lebanon. 26th, Mohammed Al-Dahiri of the United Arab Emirates, once again the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. Anupap Arfasat of Thailand 27, Nick Verheul South Africa 28, Ivan Velasco of Spain 29, and the luckless Colin Daly Jr. of Jamaica 30th. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our racing today, but it is not the end of our track action. Stick around with us. Those of you tuned in online, we're going to have a look at some replay incidents in that DD2 last chance race, but later on we have qualifying practice for the Micromax youngsters. Stick around with us.